Hello everyone, welcome. This is Nick from Top-Notch Sports, and today we got a lot to discuss. Let's hop right into this thing.
180. 180, set.
Hello everyone, welcome. This is Nick from Top-Notch Sports. Today we're over the 2023 Houston Texans salary review and offseason moves for 2023. In 2022, the Houston Texans have finished with a record of 3-13-1 under head coach Lovie Smith, finishing last in the AFC South and ending up getting rid of their head coach Lovie Smith after one season. This is back-to-back years now where their head coach has only lasted one season, with David Coley last year and now Lovie Smith this season. But is DeMeco Ryans the right guy for the job? Just hired, just this past day. I'm excited to see what this guy can do. Huge, huge asset. Many teams were going to try to bring this guy in. And the Houston Texans, out of all teams, were able to pin him down and bring him in. I think it's a phenomenal hire. He's a defensive mastermind, but also I love the energy and passion he coaches with. In this video, we're going to do a mock offseason, mock draft, mock free agency, and so much more. So stay tuned. Be sure to leave a like, subscribe. If you're new to this channel, welcome. If you're not new to this channel, welcome back. Let's hop right into this. All right, here are our expected starters for 2023 that are currently under contract. With that being mentioned, the guys in green are guys that if you cut them, you save money. The guys in red, if you cut them, you lose money. In the top left corner of your screen, you see you got $47.7 million in cap space this upcoming offseason. Now, we made this video, we made this slides, I would say, probably about 2.5 weeks ago. So there may have been some moves, little tiny things, guys signed to future contracts, et cetera, But when we made this series for all 32 teams, we wrote down the cap space available at the time for everybody. So everyone is under the same exact, playing field. And this series is a very realistic series because we just don't throw names out there. We legitimately sign guys to this team, only to this team. We're not going to have, two guys going to the same team. With all that being stated, you look at the guys in green again, you save money. So if you were to cut someone like Christian Kirksey, you would save $5 million. Eric Murray, you would save $4 million. Jerry Hughes, $5 million. Malik Collins, $4.5 million. Laramie Tunsil, you could save $18.5 million. But the main guy I want to mention here is Brandon Cooks, $8.7 million. We've been hearing rumors about Brandon Cooks wanting to leave Houston, not wanting to play there, et cetera. Maybe DeMeco Ryans can rekindle that relationship, but again, if not, look, you can save $8.7 million if you move on from Brandon Cooks. And we've seen this guy go for first rounders before in trades. He's been traded multiple times throughout his career. He's a productive receiver. But again, maybe it's time to move on. And if you can save that cap space and maybe even pick up, a draft pick or something, that would be a huge move for this team. So let me know in the comment section below who you end up cutting. Again, we'll do our predictions in a few seconds here. But right now, we're going to look at our notable losses of guys that are currently not under contract. But before we do that, the guys in red on this slide, if you cut them, you would lose money. So the only two guys there you would lose money is if you cut John Mechie or cut Jalen Petrie. You're not going to cut either of those guys. You got a pretty dang good receiving core here. Damian Pierce is a really good running back. Okay offensive line, but a defense that, I just don't know it was best suited for a, Tampa 2 system. Especially with the cornerback that you guys brought in the last draft, Derek Stingley, who I don't have listed on the slide because I want to show guys that you can cut and gain money. Okay, that's why we got Steven Nelson and Desmond King. But again, Jalen Petrie played very well in a Tampa 2 system, in my opinion. He played phenomenal this year. Whereas DeMeco Ryans likes to run a disguise, cover 3, cover 4 look where the safeties are constantly rotating, try to trick the quarterback pre-snap into making a mistake. And this might very well help this defense succeed. All right, this is our notable losses. First things first, we look at percentage snaps played. This is a percentage snaps played the players played when they were on the active game day roster. If they were not on the active game day roster, it doesn't get counted against them. Quick example, the player was, on the IR for 16 games this season, played one game, but when he played that one game, he played 100% of the snaps. Unfortunately, would say they played 100% of the snaps played this season. So again, that's where this thing is flawed a little bit, but again, take it as it is. I want to give you that warning there. All right, so who do we got? Edge rusher Rasheem Green, expected contract a 2-year, $6.8 million deal. He played 53% of snaps. Tight end Jordan Akins, expected contract a 1-year, $2.6 million deal. He played 43% of snaps. Safety Jonathan Owens, he is expected contract a 1-year, $1.4 million deal. He played 84% of snaps. And last but not least, tight end OJ Howard, expected contract a 1-year, $1.5 million deal. He played 40% of snaps. A good rule of thumb here typically is if a guy played a high percent of snaps and played well during those high percent of snaps, the team will most likely try to bring them back if the regime stays the same. With D'Amico Ryans coming in and Lovie Smith going out, that may not necessarily be the case. And a lot of the moves that we made in this video are because of Lovie Smith and what we thought they were going to do. Doesn't mean that they won't do it, but now we're bringing in D'Amico Ryans. We might see a little bit of a shakeup here, but I'll talk that over before we show you. So now let's look at our potential targets. Here are our potential targets. Ooh, a lot of stuff going on, right? Let's see what we got. Potential targets, okay? So first things first, we got $47.7 million in estimated cap space available. We're not cutting nobody, okay? It just doesn't make sense. You go back here again, you look at this, $4.5 million, $5 million. Right? Malik Collins played pretty well this year. Jerry Hughes, we just don't feel like it's likely to cut all, 3, 4, 5 guys. Use them for depth pieces if you don't want to start them, okay? What are you going to say? $3 million here, $4 million there. Raise this number up to $50, $55 million. It doesn't really make a difference. You're going to be able to make a lot of moves with the money that you have. $47.7 million is more than enough money. So what are we going to do in free agency and what are we going to do with extending players? Well, the first thing we're going to do is re-sign tight end Jordan Akins to a 1-year, $2.6 million deal, and it's a $2.6 million cap hit. We're going to sign wide receiver Mecole Hardman to a 4-year, $44 million deal, which is $11 million cap hit. We're going to go out and sign Bradley Bozeman to a 3-year, $36 million deal, which is just $12 million cap hit. We're going to also go out and sign defensive tackle Dalvin Tomlinson to a 3-year, $25.5 million deal, which is an $8.5 million cap hit. And last but not least, we're going to bring in linebacker TJ Edwards to a 3-year, $18 million deal, which is a $6 million cap hit. That totals out to being $40.1 million in total cost, which leaves you with $7.6 million that would be rolled over to next season. And so that, you got money to extend players or use it in free agency, extra money this is. Okay? So now we look at our team needs and see what we had addressed. Well, you need a quarterback, wide receiver, tight end, center, offensive guard, defensive tackle, edge, and linebacker. What do we got you doing? Well, we got you re-signing tight end Jordan Akins. He played pretty well for you guys this year. Might as well bring him back on a cheap contract. We know you got Brevin Jordan. I personally really like Brevin Jordan under David Coley. I don't know why Lovie Smith didn't like him as much. I would like to see them both back, though. You have Jordan Akins. You have Brevin Jordan. Another guy that you can mention is OJ Howard. A lot of talent there. I just don't think he's produced throughout his career. I think you got a lot more production out of Jordan Akins this season. But again, let me know in the comment section below what you'd rather do. But we did have you bringing back Jordan Akins. But again, if you don't like that, we can just plug in OJ Howard if you'd rather him back. That's a nice, easy deal. Again, actually, to be honest with you, OJ Howard would probably honestly be even cheaper than Jordan Akins, according to what we got. All right, so we bring back Jordan Akins. What are we going to do now? Well, we're going to go out on free agency and we're going to sign a bunch of players. We're going to fill in that wide receiver need by signing Mecole Hardman. We're going to also go out and we're going to sign center Bradley Bozeman, okay, to fill in that center need. We're going to go out and we're going to sign defensive tackle Dalvin Tomlinson to hog up that middle of the defense. And last but not least, we're going to go out and sign linebacker TJ Edwards from the Philadelphia Eagles. Look. You make these moves, especially TJ Edwards. He is a perfect fit for this team. You want to kind of have a guy that, has a versatility of doing some of the things that Fred Warner does. TJ Edwards may be that guy, okay, that you can plug in and play, and he'll be a really, really, really solid weapon for you guys. Okay, so we got that out of the window now. We signed a bunch of players. What's next? All right, now what are you going to have to do? Well, now we're going to attack through the draft, right? And I got a mock trade going on here. You guys want to get the first overall pick. You want to take the quarterback that you want. Well, this is what we got you doing. We got you trading Brandon Cooks, the second overall pick, the 2023 third round pick, and a 2024 third round pick as well. So what does that mean? Cooks, the second overall, the third overall this year, and the third overall next year for the first overall pick. You trade this to Chicago. Okay, Brandon Cooks to Chicago. a team that needs a receiver. This guy formerly got traded for a first-round pick, second-round pick, right down the line. I think this is absolutely worth it for the Chicago Bears. They trade down one spot. They can still draft the guy that they want. They pick up a third this year, a third next year, and a wide receiver, a veteran wide receiver that can help Justin Fields. I really like this move for the Texans. I really like this move for the Chicago Bears. It's realistic. I'm not going to, make you guys pay nothing for it. This is what it would probably cost. Okay? I mean, I wouldn't pay much more than this, though. I don't even know if I'm completely sold on quarterback Bryce Young yet, who I do have you taking first overall in this draft class. Now, again, before I, just say that and you guys are like, what the hell are you talking about? Bryce Young, I do see a lot of flashes of a good Deshaun Watson. He's a playmaker. He makes plays on his feet. He has a good arm. He's mobile. But the thing that I keep saying is playmaker. He extends plays. And on a team like this, you got to have a playmaker, a team that doesn't have a lot of weapons so far and doesn't have, an absolutely phenomenal offensive line and right down the line. They're a good offensive line. They're not phenomenal offensive line. But overall, a really good team with a good weapon. So we got you taking Bryce Young first overall. Also in the first round, we got you taking edge rusher Tyree Wilson. Now, this guy's been skyrocketing up boards. Who knows if he'll still be there, but that will fill in your edge rusher need. In the second round, we got you taking a linebacker Noah Sewell. In the third round, because you trade your other third-round pick for that Brandon Cooks deal, we got you drafting wide receiver Cedric Tillman to fill in that wide receiver need that we lost. When you lose Brandon Cooks, you got to have a few guys to fill in. So now we look at this team, right? What do we do there? Well, we drafted quarterback Bryce Young. We drafted wide receiver Cedric Tillman. We drafted Tyree Wilson at the edge position. And we drafted linebacker Noah Sewell. In 3 rounds, we completely reshaped this roster plus free agency. And again, you guys might be like, Mecole Hardman's the only guy you give us. Well, guys, the wide receiver free agency this year, absolutely horrible. Horrible. So Mecole Hardman is one of the best guys out there. They ranked Jacoby Myers as the top-ranked wide receiver. Another guy, Allen Lazard, who we got going elsewhere. We got, Jacoby Myers going back to New England. So we got you the next best guy, Mecole Hardman. So now let's look at your 2023 expected lineup with these moves being made. Here it is. The moves have been made, okay? You see a bunch of different colors. One thing you don't see is yellow, and that's a good sign. Yellow means a placeholder. We don't feel like you guys truly have a placeholder here, a guy that you're looking to actively replace if you make these moves. With all that being mentioned, what is green? What is blue? What is orange? Well, let's start with orange. Orange is the one guy that we're re-signing. We're re-signing Jordan Akins, and we're plugging him in. And you also say you got Brevin Jordan here. They'll both work out well there. Okay, so Nick, what's green? Green are guys that we're signing out of free agency. We're signing Mecole Hardman to play opposite of Nico Collins and John Mechie. We are, signing Bradley Bozeman to be the centerpiece of this offensive line with A.J. Kenyon Green, Titus Howard, and Laramie Tunsil. A pretty solid offensive line. Again, we don't have a placeholder here. We are signing Dalvin Tomlinson to play with Malik Collins in the inside, having Jerry Hughes and Tyree Wilson coming off the edge. We are signing T.J. Edwards, a phenomenal, really good player, linebacker for the Philadelphia Eagles, coming in here now and hopefully being a really versatile role for D'Amico Ryans. And, a cover 4 system, a cover 3, cover 4, the sky system where you see linebackers blitz all the time, okay? So T.J. Edwards is going to be perfect for this system with Christian Harris and, who were drafting Noah Sewell to play with, a young linebacker last year in Christian Harris, T.J. Edwards, and now you're bringing Noah Sewell to really have a really, really young linebacker core. We got a really awesome stud in the first round, Tyree Wilson coming off the edge with Jerry Hughes. You're bringing in Bryce Young, the first overall pick. Fortunately, if you make that trade, and you got Cedric Tillman here, wide receiver. Got John Mechie. I really, really, I pray that he's going to be all right and healthy. For you guys for sure. I absolutely love the player. I love the person. I think he's a phenomenal player. Really, really just a great guy on film. Love what I saw. And you bring in Cedric Tillman just as a depth piece. Nico Collins, I like Nico Collins. I like John Mechie. Mecole Hardman, hopefully he can really carve out a role in this offense. If not, you got Cedric Tillman, another guy that, plug and play. Overall, though, with this team, I really, really like what we got. I really like what we created. And D'Amico Ryans in year 1 is going to have a lot to work with, a lot of young pieces to work with. It's a 6-year deal from what I'm hearing. I love that they gave him a long time. I hope they give him at least 4 years. to really, really build this team. And again, I think it's guaranteed that he gets 3 years. Coaching contracts are all guaranteed. So they're not going to want to pay him all this money and then can him like they did a few of the other guys. Long story short, here's my prediction. After last year going 3-13-1 under head coach David Coley and quarterback Davis Mills, you upgrade at the quarterback position and you get your future guy in Bryce Young. You bring in a coach in D'Amico Ryans, who is an absolute motivator and one of the best defensive minds in the game, who's going to bring this cover 3, cover 4 disguise look, 3-4 edge rushing look, right? They do a lot, man. They some games will have a linebacker stay in covers all game like Fred Warner would. Some games Fred Warner would blitz like crazy. You got a really young piece here in Derek Stingley at the cornerback position. And you look at this offensive line, really solid offensive line, but a guy in Larry Tunsil that's going to protect Bryce Young's blind side. Overall, this team went 3-13-1 last season with Derek Stingley, Jalen Petrie, TJ Edwards, Christian Harris, Noah Sewell, Tyree Wilson coming off the edge, and all these guys with a great defensive-minded coach in D'Amico Ryans. I only see this team making strides forward. With that being mentioned, I feel like we see a huge jump from 3-13-1 to 7-10 in 1 year under head coach D'Amico Ryans and the young rookie quarterback Bryce Young, battling it out in the AFC South, finishing probably still last in the division as of now. But in year 2 and year 3, going to make a huge push trying to make the playoffs in a really tough division. The only team I can see falling out is the Tennessee Titans. The Colts, they got a real young, lineup. Really, really young stars on that team. Michael Pittman, Alec Pierce, Jonathan Taylor, Jelani Woods, right? And then, of course, you got people like Shaq Leonard. And you look at this Texans team, probably the youngest team in the National Football League, and I think this team will be great going forward. But the Jaguars are another really young and upcoming team. The only team that's old and absolutely horrible in cap space is the Tennessee Titans. But again, Mike Vrabel's a phenomenal coach. So long story short, I don't see you guys making the playoffs in year 1, but I do see this team having one of the brightest futures in the National Football League, and I truly wish you guys the best. Houston fans, stay strong. I wish you the best. See you guys soon. Peace. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. We'll see you guys soon. Peace. We are built better.